Hey guys, this is Mark the Geek. This is my review video of the new Slim PlayStation Vita 2000. And this video I mention my pros and cons of the new PlayStation Vita, and I also make my big decision. Am I gonna keep the new PlayStation Vita or am I gonna stick with my old fat thick PlayStation Vita? So let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so first let's go ahead and start with the things that I love about the PlayStation Vita, and it's honestly the thickness of this PlayStation Vita. After playing so long with the old PlayStation Vita, I get this is a real upgrade when it comes to hardware wise. You can notice it right away if you've been playing a lot with the old PlayStation Vita. You will notice right away the changes of this new one. You will notice the lightness. It feels very light as well, and even though it feels lighter and thinner, the construction wise of the new PlayStation Vita actually does feel very good. It doesn't feel cheap at all. Some people say it feels cheap, and it's funny because people that don't have the PlayStation Vita in their hand are saying that it feels cheap. Believe me, it doesn't. It actually feels a little bit more sturdier than the old one. It feels a little bit, the edges, it feels a lot better when you have it in your hand. The other thing that I like about the PlayStation Vita, the new one, is that the back part here, you will be touching less accidentally the center touchpads in the back, because your fingers will be always laying on the pads right here, these pads right here. So there will be less accidents when playing with this, because this touchpad in the back is smaller than the old PlayStation Vita. That's one thing that I really like. It feels a lot better in your hand, like I said. The other thing that I like about the PlayStation Vita is that they replaced the proprietary charging port to a universal micro USB port. You can charge this PlayStation Vita with your smartphones, with your Android smartphone charger. You can do that no matter what, because it fits perfectly there, and that's a very good advantage, because how many of these cables do we have lying around? And if you damage the one that comes with this, all you gotta do is replace it with one of the ones that you have, and that's it. You're good to go. On the old one, you would have to buy the cable. You would literally have to buy the cable to replace that one. What I also like about the new PlayStation Vita is the LEDs right here. This is way better than having the button over here lighting up. And I don't know if you guys have had the same experience as me, but playing in the dark with your old Vita, and while you're getting notifications and all that, this button lights up in blue and you're playing, and this actually is very bright when you're playing in the dark and you're playing a game, so it becomes a little bit distractive. So having the LEDs over here is a very awesome change. The other thing that I like about the PlayStation Vita is the internal 1 GB storage, which is good if you buy a PlayStation Vita for the first time and you buy a physical game and you don't have enough money to pony up for memory cards, because they can be expensive depending on the one that you want. You will be able to still start playing and save your files. You will still be able to do that. But the thing is, you're gonna eventually buy a memory card, and when you do, that internal memory card becomes inactive. The internal storage becomes inactive. What I mean is that if you buy a 8 GB card, you're not gonna have 9 GB of storage available, because that 1 GB just becomes inactive. You can't see it, you can't use it. So that's a negative right there. It's a pro, but it's also a negative. Sony claims that this new PlayStation Vita will give you at least 1 hour of battery life, and I have to say, it doesn't feel that much difference. It doesn't feel that much difference. Even though they say 1 hour battery life, it doesn't feel that much difference. I never did have problems with battery life on my old PlayStation Vita. So for me, it didn't really solve any problem, because I did drain this a couple times, and honestly, I can barely tell if it has half an hour of battery life. I can barely tell that. And you know, the difference is not that much. And of course, it should have battery life because of the screen. The screen is not an OLED screen. The screen is LCD, which I think it requires less power. That's what I think. And maybe that's the reason why you should expect a little bit of better battery life. Another thing that I've been liking about the PlayStation Vita is the shoulder buttons. The shoulder buttons, they feel a lot more resistant. When you press on them, you could feel like a little bit more resistant. They feel a lot better, a lot sturdier. And that might be because it's new. Maybe that's the reason why they feel like that. But you can notice the difference when you're playing here with the PlayStation Vita and you're using these buttons in the top. They feel a lot less clicky, a lot less rattle noise than the old one. And you can feel a resistance. You can also feel a resistance, like if something inside is pushing it out. And it feels very good. Also, the buttons over here, the home button, the select button, the start button, they are raised over the device, which makes it a lot easier when you're gonna do like take a snapshot or something like that. They feel a lot more easier to do because you can actually feel the buttons a lot better. On the old PlayStation Vita, you cannot feel the buttons. They are totally flush with the body. But here it feels very good. Okay guys, so now let's go ahead and talk about my cons of the new PlayStation Vita, and it's the screen. Like you see, this is the LCD and this is the AMOLED screen. And they're both set up with the same brightness, and you could tell right away that the colors over here on the old PlayStation Vita, they look a lot better. I gotta say, I have to admit it, they look a lot better. And the whites, you can see this one looks a lot more whiter, and this one looks a lot more like yellowish, like a lot more like bone white. And that's not good. That's not good. That's very, very negative. Like for those that don't know, Sony replaced the LCD, the screen, with an LCD technology screen. The old PlayStation Vita has an OLED screen. The blacks on the PlayStation Vita look way, way, way more blacker, dark, and the whites look very, very white. You saw it right there. You could tell right there in the video that the white over here, instead of looking deep white, very, very white, it looks bone white, which that is a very, very negative thing. Here I got this wallpaper. Let's show you guys that wallpaper right there. And the same wallpaper. I have the same setup here so you guys can see the difference here. And you could tell in the top right here, look how she looks. You could tell she looks paled. No color in the face. She looks like a dead person to me. Over here, you could tell right away she looks a lot more prettier. You can see her colors in her face. Her hair even looks better. Her color of the jacket, like you see, looks very nice, very blue. Over here, it looks paled as well. It looks very faded. Everything looks very faded. You could also tell on the icons. Look at the icons. Look at the browser. This browser looks a lot more better, a lot more bluer and shinier. This one over here looks paled. Looks like a very, very light blue, and it does not look shiny at all. Same thing with the PSN logo as well. Like you see the PSN logo, it looks deep blue over here. Shiny icon over here looks totally pale. And that, honestly, I am trying to get used to the screen. Believe me, guys, I am trying to get used to the screen. But I think Sony dropped the ball right there with the screen. This PlayStation Vita could have been perfect. Could have been the perfect upgrade from the old PlayStation Vita. But honestly, the biggest deal breaker here is the screen. Honestly, it's the screen. I love the device. Like I said, I love the device. I love all the upgrades they did with the PlayStation Vita. I love the body. I love the buttons over here. I love the LED that they did over here. I love that the fact that they replaced the proprietary charger for the micro USB, which is awesome. And one thing that I've been thinking is that Sony hasn't said anything. Sony hasn't said that this will be coming to the United States. And I've been thinking about it, and I might be correct or maybe not, but I'm guessing that maybe based on all the feedback that Sony might get about the Slim model, it could be that Sony releases this same Vita, but with an OLED screen to the United States and the rest of the world. It could be. I'm telling you, they could do that because I think it's totally negative. What they did with the screen, they went back. Yeah, they try to make it cheaper, but honestly, it does not look better. You're gonna notice the downgrade when it comes to games like Rayman. Games like Rayman, you could tell the difference right away. The old PlayStation Vita, the colors of the worlds and everything, they look very, very nice, very poppy, very beautiful. But on the new PlayStation Vita, the colors, they look faded. They look very, very subtle. They don't look bright at all. Also, games, of course, when you're watching movies, I would say that the PlayStation Vita normal one would look a lot better because the colors are more natural. But when you're watching gameplay videos and all that, it's still not gonna look better than the old one. It's not gonna look better than the old one. Yes, there are some games that might look better here, like for example sports game. They could look better here, but it's not that big of a difference. The other thing that Sony should have done for the new PlayStation Vita is give it a resolution upgrade. They should have at least put a 720p screen on this PlayStation Vita. This is a 5-inch screen, and we got smartphones that have 1080p screens, and they look freaking beautiful screens. And having the PlayStation Vita with less than 720p, I don't think at this time and age it should be allowed. They should, if they're gonna upgrade, they should have upgraded everything. They should have upgraded the screen. They should have upgraded the hardware inside, because it's not the most fastest device ever either. But for the games that it plays, it's enough. Sony knows that it's enough, and it does. It is enough. It is enough. But at least the screen should have been upgraded a lot more. Okay, so now with the final verdict. Should you buy the PlayStation Vita Slim or not? Well, honestly, if you can buy the old PlayStation Vita for a cheaper price, like between $150 to $175, I would still recommend buying the old PlayStation Vita because of the colors, and the device itself is very, very nice. It's a very nice device. If you have already a old PlayStation Vita, I do not recommend getting the new PlayStation Vita because you're gonna notice the difference very, very fast. Yes, you're gonna love the way it feels and everything. It does feels awesome in your hand. It feels very good after playing so long with the old one, but the screen is the deal breaker. The screen is not an upgrade. It's not an upgrade. It's a downgrade. So honestly, I recommend not to buy the new PlayStation Vita Slim. Do not buy it if you have a old PlayStation Vita, and if you don't have a PlayStation Vita, try to get the old PlayStation Vita for cheap. Try to get it cheap. There's a lot of offers in eBay, on Amazon, or at your local store where you could buy used consoles. Try getting it used, but honestly, it's not worth the upgrade because you're actually downgraded when it comes to the screen, and the screen is what matters. Now, time for the big decision. Am I gonna keep my old PlayStation Vita, or am I gonna keep the new PlayStation Vita, which also cost me almost $300 to ship it over here, and the overpriced they had it over there in the website? Well, honestly, guys, I am a YouTuber, and I make videos for gameplay videos for YouTube. And when I make videos for YouTube, I always want them to look as good as possible. I want to get the best picture on my screen. I want to get the best picture on video when I post it on YouTube and everything. So for me, the screen quality is very, very important. So I have to stick with the old PlayStation Vita. I feel sorry for this, but I can't stick with the Slim PlayStation Vita if it has a bad screen. The screen is not very good. You could notice the difference, and it's coming from somebody that's been playing with the old PlayStation Vita since 2011 when this was released in Japan the first time. So guys, I hope you guys liked the video, but I have to get busy now putting this on eBay. Till next time, guys.